Alors bonjour, and welcome to Mystara. Monsieur Welsh would typically be giving this narration as he is crossing the 10,000 subscriber threshold. But he managed to find a magical portal in the back of his closet leading to the mystical land of Faerun. They are currently holding a parade in his honor from graduating from demigod to lesser god of gaming. He's still sulking because while he is quite famous in the Dare lands, this is not Mystara. C'est pas le même. It's not the same. But where are my manners? Je suis Etienne Excuse me. I am Etienne d'Amberville, the wizard prince of Nouvelle-Averrogne. I am standing in for him today in honor of all his contributions to my adopted homeland. S'il vous plaît, sit back. Enjoy as I regale you with the story of my life. I am le Prince d'Amberville, and it is time to set the record straight. But first, I must get something off my chest. Oui. I came to your world as a favor for Monsieur Welsh, where I discovered this amazing scrying device where you could ask any question, and it will tell you the answer. Mais not the correct answer. No, c'est pas correct. When I saw someone rated the most powerful wizards of the D&D universe, I was intrigued. I come from Glountry, where epic wizards are waiting behind every street sign. In distant Alphesia, they are rumored to be ruled by a council of 1,000 archmages. But no, more than half the wizards hailed from the world of Faerun. And one of the chosen was a god. Worst of all, the number one choice was some failed conjurer himself calling himself the god. Last time I checked, if you wanted to be called god, you actually had to succeed in achieving divinity. Quelle merde. Look at these names on this list. Azalin Rex is one of the most powerful wizards in D&D. He's not even the most powerful wizard in Ravenloft. And that misanthropic hermit Meriadoth holds that undesirable title. Niv Mizzet? Skissa, who is this Niv Mizzet? He's not even in this game. Dulket Arikan. Last time I checked, huh? In order to be a wizard, you have to have spells, arcane magic. Not just some magical power given to you by a deity like willy-nilly. Are you including Fizban as a mortal wizard? So deities are now eligible for this list? Fine. Let's compare my resume with their number one choice, Monsieur Karsus. Karsus wanted to be a god, eh? So he cast a 12-level spell and failed. Kill himself, destroy his people. Moi? I became an immortal by casting a 9-level spell. Oh, and I succeeded. This is why I am talking to you now, and he is a rock in the middle of the wilderness. He destroyed his people in his hubris. I brought my entire nation to a new land to save them from the fires of our enemies. Point, Etienne. Again. He succeeded in his mad quest to destroy Mystara, the Faerun patron of magic. I became the patron of magic, and I didn't have to kill another deity in the process. Another win in my column. He destroyed all the magic in his hubris. I discovered a new form of magic that benefited all who could use it. He got turned into a smoking rock. I am the head of a great school of magic. And an immortal imperial of the Spear of Energy. No, I am not a god. I am an immortal. I earned my divinity. But Etienne, you patron of Golic manhood, how did you get so all-powerful? So much so you are off the charts when it comes to rating other wizards. This is an excellent question, one that I am happy to answer. I didn't always have my unsurpassed magical abilities, my encyclopedic knowledge of all things arcane, or my rock-hard six-pack abs. I had to earn these, And once I had mastered the art, I had to struggle to maintain my place at the top. Oh, I had numerous foes waiting to see me fall, many of whom come from my own family. Most of whom actually come from my own family. We d'Ambervilles are nothing if not persistent. I was not born in Glantry. My family originally came from a distant and magical place we call France. This is right. I come from your world, a version of your world. There, I was raised by my parents, Michel and Camille, where I first learned magic and was taught that I would be the savior of my famille. There, I balanced my magical studies with the attentions I received from the ladies because of my naturally occurring good looks. It was a difficult time in my life. When I was 17, I lost my father in battle. Our family was very powerful in the ways of magic, something French people will rarely mention. I blame Pope Clement V. We rode out to do battle with papal forces, despite being vastly outnumbered. The enemy inflicted terrible losses on our troops, including mon père, my father. But the day was ours, through bravery, determination, and no small amount of fireballs. But alas, I was now the head of my family before I was ready. My brother, Richard, was older, but he could not cast magic. And who trusts a leader who cannot cast magic? But we were en danger, we were in danger, and I needed to do something. After consulting with my family, at least the people who could cast spells, it was time to find a new home away from Averoigne. Nouvelle Averoigne, if you will. I was still a teenager, but what a teenager I was. I used my awesome magical powers to locate a new home, not just for my family, but for my people as well. If France would not have us, I would make a new magical France, with roulette and courtesans. I explained this to my family, and we agreed to vote on it, with only my brother Henri voting in my favor, and my siblings Madeleine, Simon, and Richard voting against it, but as they were not wizards, their votes did not count. Since my brother Henri wasn't me, his vote didn't count either. But we were taking our people to the world of Mystara, where we could openly live our lives sans prejudice, without prejudice, even better, without clerics, dwarves, or halflings. I used scrying magic to find the ideal location for my people. Mystara is resplendent with various terrain types. I was naturally looking for something similar to Averoigne. Darroquin was a good choice, but well populated. I wanted my people to have a fresh start, without the potential for immediate conflict. For this reason, I avoid Taiatis. But when I found Glantry in my research, something called to me. It was sparsely populated. Beaucoup de vallées, many valleys. They were perfect for growing wine, and the magical aura I could detect, well, that certainly caught my eye. This is where we would resettle. We opened multiple gates through which we brought our family, followers, and malheureusement the Scottish. The necromancers of Clantyre managed to follow us through the gates. As much as France doesn't like sorcery, Scotland, it takes an even dimmer view of necromancy. Before we could alter the magical gates to adopt a no shoes, no shirts, no pants policy, they were already through. Almost as bad, they destroyed the gate they claimed, causing many of our people to be trapped in France, witch-burnings, inquisitions, merde. Because of this, we have been at odds with House Crown Guard since our arrival. I should talk about Chateau d'Amberville, since that's the first question most people ask me. You see, when I became prince, I needed to settle down and start a famille. I long had the eye of many women, with my arcane prowess, political power, and a stomach you could grate parmesan on. My first true love, Geneviève de Sephora, a ravishing woman, several years my younger, whom I had to leave because she lacked the talent for magique. I then married Catherine Marchand, the daughter of our stable master, who had many magical talent. She bore me 2 sons, Jean-Louis and Claude. They grew up to be warriors of great standing, in gallantry, meaning they were no better than mere commoners. At least my niece Monique has magical talent, and some degree of competency. But back to the chateau. My wife was from a long line of commoners. She never felt like she belonged in my family. It's a long line of nobles. She wanted more attention from me and did what any proper French noblewoman would do. She had me assassinated. That got my attention, most definitely. It didn't help that she was having an affair with my frère, my brother Henri, at that time, because nothing ever good comes from that man. Ugh, sacre bleu. I was expecting this, of course, and placed contingency plans in case of my death. By contingency, I mean I blasted my wife and treacherous brother to charbon, and locked the chateau in time, until some brave adventurers arrived and undid the events, restoring my family and me to life. I then guillazed my entire family into never betraying me again, or else evil things that I never specified would happen. I know what you're thinking. Etienne, you glorious Gallic god of gallantry, how could you possibly top that? You came back from the dead without the help of some paltry cleric. Indeed, you have proven yourself the greatest wizard of all time, and, well, yes, I have proven precisely that. I was not done. No. I discovered a magical energy source under Glantry City, and by research, I realized that this was the way to achieve divinity without the help of the immortals, gods, or any other divine creature. I would join their ranks on my own, without anyone else's help. I began research into this magic that I dubbed the Radiance. By storing the energy, I could power my spells to a degree no one else had ever conceived possible. I created new spells under the Radiance, unique artifacts, and found ways to channel the energy through myself. Of course, I kept it secret to prevent others from corrupting its power. Finally, I was ready to achieve immortality on my terms. I collected the material components, a lich's skull, a nightwing's tongue, 12 ounces of a great air phoenix ashes, a pint of fresh steaming gremlin blood, 2 mandrakes, 2 malfera eyes, 12 feathers from an archon, and a tooth from the star dragon himself. All in all, a rather productive night. Then I cast Transcend Life Force and was ready to walk into Pandia's city of immortals. The only thing standing between me and my destiny was a single titan sworn to the sphere of energy. He told me to return to my mortal life, that the radiance was no shortcut to immortality, and he would stop me by all means necessary if I tried to continue. After 15 seconds of what they call the ground and pound, he was crying for his mama like a bébé, and I walked into the vault of Pandias to claim my immortality. Have you ever seen an entire pantheon do a double take? It was worth it. Many of the immortals tried to deny me my place among them. Only the sphere of energy stood by me. It was a pointless argument. My spell was already a complete success. I was indeed an immortal. Many older immortals thought that I cheated myself into their ranks. I did it without their worship, their help, or magic. But many of the energy immortals took me under their wing, explaining the rules, powers, and limitations I now possess. They told me to take an immortal name to be known by, so I chose the name Rad, because that's what I am. Since I could continue living among the immortals using an avatar, I maintained my place at the head of House Sylaire, because I alone could control my madcap family. Also, I quite enjoy messing with Henri. As well, in the following years, I taught at the Great School of Magic and shared secret knowledge of the Radiance with worthy mages. Sadly, my wife and I grew apart as she left to become the ambassador to Theatis. Henri still coveted my position at the head of the household, and the rest of my family just did what they wanted. But then, the Alphatians started causing trouble by telling us what we could and could not do with our magic. I sent them away with a dismissive letter. But alas, they returned, forcing me to taunt them a second time. Thus the wrath of the immortals started, a war between Glantry and Alphatia. Theatis wisely joined our side, but was quickly defeated because what do you expect to happen when fighters challenge wizards? This was even before Monty Cook wrote the Glantry book. But I had a secret weapon to defeat Alphatia. And by defeat, I mean wiping them off the map. Complètement. Bye-bye. Literally, the continent sank beneath the waves. This caused the old ones to come and have a chat with me about using immortal-level magics to kill mortals. Apparently, my defense that they started it wasn't going to pass. In short, Wrath of the Immortals was the most disappointing thing, except for my sons. But, fortunately for me, I was not slain, but put into a prison of my own mind. During this time, my brother Henri again tried to murder his way to the top at a family gathering, no less. How rude. My dear sweet maman hired adventurers who were able to free me from the mental prison and return me to my former glory and let me mess with Henri one more time as he had violated his Gaia. I hope he likes incurable and chronic joke itch. It was then that I discovered my true love Geneviève was secretly a wizard all this time, and we could have been together from the very start. Putain! But now I have returned to the ranks of the Immortals, and once more I sit as the head of the Great School of Magic. Not bad for a kid from Vaillant, no? Thus concludes this video, as I must return to Mystara, for there are entropics to be thwarted, students to be lectured, and my family to be guided. I hope you enjoy it. Also, let me say merci to Bears, the Gen X GM, for allowing me to crash at his place on Quebec while I record this. Texas is just too damn hot, even for an immortal like me. Check his channel for gaming, geek-related topics, nerdy stuff. Next week, Monsieur Rudge returns with a video on the Phaeacian Duchy of Mositius that turned the Oracle into a tourist trap. Until then, vive la France. Ah, non. Vive d'Amberville.